Thoughts Movie Club. Today we are discussing the very controversial interview of the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry with Oprah Winfrey. Now, this interview was streamed on CBS on 8th of March, and since then, this has been very controversial. There are a lot of talks and interviews. There are a lot of talks and articles about it, and everybody's talking about it. So, what is in it that is so controversial that makes it so interesting and worth talking? So today we're going to discuss that only. And before moving any forward, I would like to tell you all that this is an open discussion, so everybody could unmute their mic and say whatever you want to. And also, without wasting any more time, I'll quickly move to Sukirti ma'am for your reviews about it. What did you feel when you were watching this?
Things. Of course, there are three characters, very powerful ones. You've got, of course, Meghan, you've got Harry, and of course, you've got Oprah. So Oprah, when she goes, of course, you can see that it's a little bit put on. I mean, I actually felt maybe, I don't know. I looked at all three of the characters. Meghan, of course, you feel a lot of sympathy for her. Harry, though, was the one that was most disturbing to me. Maybe because I've always seen him as the playboy, the one that's laughing, the one that's joking. Here, he seemed like a man that was really like, daba hua, like thoda weight hai world ka uske upar. So it was like a transformation actually I saw in Harry, so much so that it was very hard for me to relate to him, that this was almost a totally different person. In terms of the interview, I think my one takeaway, perception versus reality. Nothing is like what it seems.
That's actually very true. Amita ma'am, what did you feel when you were watching the interview?
So if I have not read all those hoo-ha about the interview and so many articles, as you said, I would have said that okay, it's a very sweet, honest interview which is exposing about their own lives. They have come out in the public and spoken about their struggle. And maybe because I have watched Crown, maybe I watched Diana. So for me, oh my God, the history is repeating again. So that was the reaction for me. And I sympathized, I understood when they were talking about the institution, the media, the not providing the. So maybe I've seen all of this in Crown. So for me, it was again, I am seeing the story from the palace itself. Was the kind of a feeling. Yes, as Sukirti said, that drama of reaction of Oprah, like, oh my God, I'm taken aback by the color story, really. So those were little dramatized, but more or less, I loved the interview.
So yeah, talking about that only, there was a lot of outrage when the part colorism came out. Everybody was like, "How could such a thing happen?" and everything. And last year we were talking about Black Lives Matter and all, and these things just like is a kind of a mirror for all the people that what Indian females actually go through. You know, in India, this happens a lot. We females have to go through colorism. तुम्हारा color ऐसा है और तुम्हारे बच्चे का color ऐसा और वो सब. So, what do you have to say about that?
Thank God, India, mein, we all are a little on the darker side. So majority of are all brown skin. So very, very few people. So I know it happens that you immediately react that acha rang to samla hai. Very, very, very common thing. You put all those upturns and whitening creams and everything. But somehow I feel that maybe we are not too fair looking people. So we are used to live in biases.
But I think also more so, I think we understand that maybe in India, haan, theek hai. But you also realize in the US and in UK, this shield of thoda sa racism, thoda sa wo to hai, especially when Harry says, looking at it through her lens, that I could see how differently we're treated. We've also seen that in the elections. We've also seen all of the stuff that's happening. So even in the US, although everybody wants to be all this politically correct, there is this layer in of racism that is there. And even I, when I remember, I grew up in the US and I was 11 years old, and somebody from the window yelled, "Don't play with those black kids." To them, we were also black. So in the UK, I can also imagine that this level, to make that change happen, it will take a long time.
Well, Smita ji said, "Nain naksh to अच्छे हैं पर रंग सांवला," and that's so true. I don't know how long we have to wait to, change all these things. Smita ji, you can unmute yourself and say if you have to say something. If we like talk about mental health issues, this is something like last day we were talking about mental health issues a lot in India. Um, and honestly, it takes so much courage for such a big personality to open up and talk about such a big thing. And so, yeah, and at this point, she was also connected to Princess Diana because she did the same. She opened up about her mental health and everything. So, what do you think about opening up, about mental health issues and everything, discussing
I
that in open?
honestly thought that was the biggest takeaway from the whole interview because hopefully, when people like her, you see that and that they are able to express themselves and open up and say, hey, listen, I was not able to manage. I had these thoughts. It's going to give a courage to a lot of people to say, okay, you know what? I have to also talk about
So, mine was like when Harry said that even I was stuck in that situation where it was difficult for me to accept it also and to express it, dealing with it and accepting that my wife has mental issues. That was like, if your husband is also kind of stigmatized about it, what is, where do you go? Who do you go to?
And also, he had a similar experience in the past with his mother, so that
You
adds
said
a
no,
huge.
that I could see history repeating. That was
Mhm.
exactly what he said.
surprisingly 2020 this was, and they're sitting in UK, which you think is very advanced, yet even there they were not wanting to deal with the issue of mental health.
Also,
Why don't we ask audience also, Harshita, everybody to.
yeah, and anybody can unmute yourself and please join us. We would love to hear from you. Um, Also, at this point, I thought I had this I had this question: why was she depressed in the first place? Like, what all things could have happened to her that she was so depressed? And she mentioned that I asked Harry not to leave me alone because I did not know what I'm gonna do with myself. So that was like so heart wrenching. And like, what do you think could be the reasons for her mental issues or mental health for everybody?
I think loneliness, what she said, and what I think really touched me is that she was very isolated. So all of a sudden, you move from a very different space. She's in the US, probably a lot of freedom to a very closed and a very confined space with a lot of rules. So that can also take a lot of toll. Plus, even though she was saying that she was not reading the press, right? There was constantly this being in the limelight. I think both of those can really take a toll. That first they had isolated her, she was not really able to move about. And the second is the press, which is very, very harsh and can literally tear you down.
I agree with you the same that it's like sometimes you even know that okay, royal family or the other family is going to be like that, but you actually cannot visualize everything. So smallest of the detail of living in a family, and you don't find yourself fitting there for whatever reason, is something is will pull you down every day, every moment. So
And listening to that, I also felt how many Indian women must have felt depressed and everything because Indian women are so restricted in their houses and isolated. So we should think about that as well. And yeah, also there was a part of the perfect family, or the portrayal of the perfect family कि हमारी family बिल्कुल perfect है. And honestly, we Indians are so obsessed with that idea कि हमारी family बहुत अच्छी है, and it's like this is the perfect family that could ever exist. Why are we so obsessed with this thing? So do you think like it's okay to normalize not having a perfect family and having family issues because everybody have it, I feel.
yeah, dysfunctional family, what is a big deal about it? How can everything be perfect in life? It is not possible. But yeah, the social media has a big role to play because we all portray we are the best. So, and if I am not the best, I feel everybody is the best. I am not the one who is fitting in there. What do you say, Suketri?
I think, yeah, I think what that statement she made, na, that the whole, even the royal family is so scared of the press. Press kya karega? Log kya karenge? You know, that this obsession when you are even at such a high level, that is always playing on your mind that you have to always look perfect. You have to show this idealism. I think it's kind of crazy. And but I think we also are the ones that kind of perpetuate that, because we kind of say, oh, look at how cute they're looking, look at how much in love they are, look at how beautiful their children are, look at her right after her pregnancy, she's glowing. So I think all of us have made those comments, and I think on the opposite side to Meghan, oh, she came out and she still hasn't lost the baby weight. So, I think these comments, yes, we may say it's others, but how many of that we have also done, and
And also,
wanting that perfection from, because she's a princess.
mm. And also, I want to ask both of you. You guys are married, and you have your own family. So, do you think like it's a pressure on the women of the family to make that family perfect? I mean, why couldn't we ask men to make that family perfect? They could also do the things that women are supposed to do. So, like,
Yeah,
just
it's Harshita, it's an old tradition when men used to go out of the house in the morning and come back in the night. So everything was kind of a woman's responsibility to manage a very what do you call it? A very cordial relationship in the house to see that everything is okay. So this old belief is still going on. We don't realize that the woman also goes out to work. The responsibility is the same, and the guy is always in his house. So for him, nothing has changed.
But in this case, I think a little bit differently because, I mean, he says, Harry does say, my brother is stuck. My dad is stuck. He uses those words. So it is actually as much of a toll of playing this part of perfection. And even if you can see, I mean, of course, because we maybe have all watched The Crown, that Prince Charles also was not really making his
He
own
was not
decisions,
a happy soul.
not a happy soul. He also had to play whatever was that role that was expected of him. And we see that a lot of boys, possibly even in India, are not allowed to marry who they want. They're told, "Acha, hamare ghar mein to tumhe rehna hai, to tum bhi." So it is not only the bahus. Sometimes it's also the sons that are also under this pressure to kind of create this illusion that yes, everything is perfect.
So this reminds me, Suki, when you said that Harry was looking bogged down. So Oprah asked him that you were always bubbly, happy, and a very vibrant personality. What happened? He said because that was the pressure. We had to put out an image. There was a role play we were doing.
Yes.
So yeah, men
So
are.
your every move is measured. तुमने left देखा, तुमने right देखा, तुमने हाथ पकड़ा, कितनी जोर से हाथ. I mean, it's crazy. And even nowadays, I think because of social media, all these selfies, everything, you also feel that you're constantly being watched.
For me, the most shocking, Harshita, I know that you have questions, but one thing I couldn't resist, the most shocking part when they said that we can't give you security. I was like, that was deliberate because it is not that they don't have money to provide you security. How can you leave the royal family without security? Even
Yeah,
if he is not the
yeah.
king in
I've
the
I've
line.
been reading on that. So the two times, I don't know. Again, all of this is all on Google. So the
Yeah.
first time they said it's actually the British government that provides security, and
Correct.
because he was not made into a prince, right? Archie, and because Archie was not a prince, which they made an exemption for Kate's children, all of them were made princesses. Because he was not made a prince, technically the British government could not give him security. Second, in Canada, the Canadian government gave them security. And when the Canadian people, I think, would have said, why are you giving? They pulled the security. So then you have to do it on your own,
So
which all the other, unless you're doing it on royal tour. So
don't
one
tell me
was
that
the,
not everybody in the royal family is to be the king in the line, but they are provided enough.
oh, they are not then. They only provided security. That's what they say, or they have to hire their own, unless they are on royal duty.
So who pays?
The British government.
Obviously, no. If you have to hire on your
Then
own,
you, then you.
so
So when Harry was doing chore duty, Charles was paying everything.
Atushi in our audience have unmute herself. Atushi, do you want to add something or do you want to say something? Yeah. Okay.
No.
Okay, it's fine. No, but I agree with you, Meeta. The security question had me so curious. I've been Googling at least for 5 hours on this.
something very
I couldn't understand it either.
Even what do you call it? The Queen's sister, what's her name? Which was like on Crown. She was. Everybody had some or the other. There is a protocol. How can you announce that you will not be provided
They
security?
don't announce it, the British government
No,
decides.
no, I understand, but it's not that people are they are not provided security. Why
I
this?
think what happened is because they didn't declare him prince. And that is where the main contention, from what I understand from all my reading, that because that exception was made for Kate, and it was made probably because she is in line to be the queen and her children, that exception was not made for Archie. If that exception had been made, he would have actually also been given security.
But anyway, it was a strange.
Very, very, I mean, that's what I think, that's why they call it the institution, because there are lots of these rules and stuff, and pata nahi kahan ke, in terms of what is their protocol. Even coming back to the crown, do you remember how the queen's sister was treated? And she always felt slighted. This is how I feel as Harry, that if you are not the monarch or the monarch in waiting,
Your life is hell.
yeah,
Also, I have this thought, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like when you have this royal family tag with you, it is somehow important to portray that we have a perfect family. I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I feel like that could have been one of the reasons why, she was pressurized to portray that she's in the perfect family, because of the royal tag that is super super contradicting. All right.
I feel that she was there was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of biases against her, and maybe she was made to try to made to fit in the family, which she was not. So I feel not just the projection of a royal family, but a lot of nitty gritty, lot of everyday challenges that was being faced by her.
Speaking
I
of which,
so
UK tabloids have been so unfair to her, so much.
and what it tells you is that a princess's life, we all say, Bhaiya, princess banna hai. You see the princess diaries, everything is glam, glam. And then you look at the two princesses that we have actually adored, both Diana and Meghan, and you see, my goodness, is that really what a princess's life is?
And also the Sas Bahu thing. Now, Meghan never mentioned Queen Elizabeth's name anywhere. But why is everybody saying Sas Bahu? And there are a lot of memes that I saw, memes, and was like everybody is like making funny videos on, that Sas wali thing, ki Sas aise bolte, Sas aise bolte. I don't know why people are like expecting ki wo Queen Elizabeth hi hogi. So,
बोलूं Ashita,
हाँ जी, ma'am.
what happens, like I feel Kittel, and I watched the show yesterday,
Hmm.
because when we don't watch the show and we want to fit in there, you don't watch the whole show, you go by whatever mm, reviews everybody writes, article is being written, memes are being forwards are being done, you judge, you make a judgment as per that. And so when I watched the video, I really feel, and me and Sukriti, we all were discussing last evening, that there was nothing like a mention of a bad grandmother-in-law or a bad treatment. She was talking good about everybody in the
नहीं,
family.
but यहाँ पर तो सास कमिला हुई ना. I'm just joking. But yes.
You have to become a bee, no?
All right. And talking about family, she was also compared to Kate, like her sister-in-law Kate, about the race and all. So do you
नहीं
think
नहीं,
it's
मैं हर्षिता यहाँ पे ये मानती हूँ कि ये तो बहुत इंडियन है. Comparing yourself with your sister-in-law is the most Indian thing. So there I found it very, again,
and
very
also, ma'am, you mentioned ki how like we avoid and forget checking the boys' background, and girls' ki background हमेशा check होते हैं before marriage and everything, and this is something so common in India. So why do you think that is such a thing?
no, but they say na, then you just don't marry a person, you marry the family. The You are saying why the backgrounds are checked or why the backgrounds are not being checked.
Why the backgrounds of only girls are checked and like
No,
boys ka
no. These
background उतना
days,
not?
I think parents are also checking out the boy's background. So,
My family, the parents always used to check the boys' background more, because they always said कि यहाँ से तो अभी just have to get the girl home and here I have to send our daughters to the family. So I think background check, if it happens for both, and it should be checked, because if you're going to live in the same family.
But I think UK tabloids did very bad. They mentioned her background to
I
harass her
think
mentally,
the
which is
press
so
was
wrong.
actually a really big villain. No, the press is one of the ones I feel actually
It's
was
the reason for the
maybe
breakup.
creating a lot of this rift also, where it doesn't
Mm.
exist, maybe is not even there.
No, and the excerpts of the press was whatever was published was released. You feel so like the person will. It is a mental harassment, a big mental harassment. You are in the royal family, and things were being written about you all over. It's like,
And that I think was one of the things that was really upsetting to even Megan, because she said for even more smaller things, the press office would correct. But when it came to me, they did not actually put out corrections.
Whatever was going on with her, I would like. I really liked her courage that she came out and she opened up. Amita Devraj is saying something. Amita, we could not hear you actually. Um,
Hi,
Hi,
Akshika.
Amita.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay. Happy Holi. I think it's Holi today, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's like after
It's
2 days. Yeah,
easy. It's
happy Holi
easy.
to you too.
Well, I've just seen the excerpts, not the full thing of this Meghan and Harry's exit and the interview with Oprah. Oprah has always been my favorite. I've always watched the shows on TV, and now I have on Facebook also. But once in a way, I do keep track of her posts, and she had these two wonderful people. And well, I think. Meghan comes from a different setup altogether, American a simple family and a broken family, and they're completely different, right? And see, one thing is she's got to adjust to the royal family. They're completely, there is love with Harry and all, how they met, a story we know, before they actually got married, and then he introduced her to the royal family and all. But then she has to change, right? She has to get, uh, you're marrying the boy, but you have to change to get into that.
but
That's a
did,
royal
but
family. That's completely
Amita,
different.
didn't she say that I was learning the what is national anthem, and then hymns and everything? So she was trying. She was trying.
Yeah, she did, but she wasn't at all, because many times they showed her. We have seen her clips. She was
It's
just
again, it's
smiling.
again the it's again the tabloid. It's again the
No,
media.
so she was, yeah, she did. I don't think she really tried as much as she could try, because she was just being herself, which was very clear when they showed the videos and all these things, whenever they kept showing her with Harry, with the family
I
or.
feel ki when you don't fit the norm, it's
I
very
think
difficult
one
for
way
a person
is,
to survive.
from what people are saying, that she is like, I think Harry is listening to her all the time. I think because of her, he had to leave to the US, and he is from the royal. See, he also has his drawbacks. Some hate is there with the family, with the brothers, but they've all come back. Now, after this interview, they've all come back. Is what I've seen the report through the news. All are waiting to reconcile, talk. Queen is not happy about what Meghan, and they're not racist. They've claimed to say they're not racist. And then he talks about his mother. Diana is still, the late Princess Diana is still my idol. I have always, I've kept a file of her pictures. I was like following her like anything, but we can't compare her with Meghan. Meghan is completely different. We can't. Of course, Harry would have felt for his mum. After all, Diana is even loved by people today. People, and through this, they showed the entire royal family. The Queen came up, Diana a lot, things we have not seen much, and it's for the American people to show their culture. I mean, the what the royal family is like. It's completely different. I don't know if we were to be in Meghan's place, coming from some other country. Of course, it's love, and then going into a royal family, I think one has to adjust a little bit. But though there may be problems with people inside, and she she was not happy. I felt Megan was not at all happy, though she may have tried a bit, but and I don't know how Harry had to, leave England, leave UK, the family, and go. And she wanted the child now. She is due. She is expecting the second one. Whether the baby is, brought up there being American, they wanted simple life. They wanted, that's what they wanted. They did, but I think one can't take off Prince Harry's prestige, right? Because he served, he worked, and now he's got a job. Now he's got a job in something, a new news. Hi, Sukriti. Good evening.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah,
Anybody else want to add anything to it? We would love to hear from you.
Yeah, I would like to add something. I beg to differ from what Amita said. It's not fair to blame Megan that she didn't try enough. I think she did her best. And just because, she came out in the open and moved out, probably people are seeing her as a villain. That she took away her husband and poor thing, he's not got the royalty, he's not got anything, he's given up everything. But I think it's a very, very, very brave step that she took, giving up on everything that she had at that point of time and taking a stand and moving out, just because she could not take and she could not adjust despite trying too hard. And I think it was a very brave step. And a lot of women today, even if they have a lot of problems, they keep adjusting. And I think end of the day, that leads to depression. When there are so many subdued emotions inside and you can't take a stand, you can't take them out. So the ultimate, the person will go into depression. So I think it was a very brave step, and I think she did try enough, but probably it just didn't work out for her. Poor thing.
That's so true. That's so true. Which brings us to the second school of thought. Now, I would like to hear from all of you. Like all these things could actually be a marketing strategy, because there was a lot of there were a lot of articles about it. Was it actually true, or was it actually a marketing strategy? So I would love to hear from all of you. Why do you think, or why or slash why not do you think it could be a marketing strategy? Meeta ma'am, why do you think, or why not it
Yeah, I
could?
feel it's too much, too big a cost to pay if it is a marketing strategy. You know that you have taken direct enmity from with the royal family. Nobody with the right mind will do that. I feel there could be other way to do a marketing, but I feel that you will not take this kind of a panga.
Amita, what do you think about it?
I think media is always big. We can't digest everything, right? I think it's made big from what we've heard, and it's always like that, the paparazzi following the media.
Only thing I
Something
feel,
is,
Amita, yeah, yes, say.
hmm,
Only thing I feel that maybe you know that they had to come out and they had to speak out about it. So which platform to take? What time should we release? How should we release? When is the time right? When do kind of do a deal with Netflix and Spotify? Because if I have to speak something, I'll pick the right time if I'm smart enough. So I feel the interview could be planned, but the intention to come out in public and express it was an intention was already there.
well, Meeta, I followed Megan like earlier before she got married, and I saw the wedding. And like she is a well-educated girl. She was interested in acting. I'd seen that serial also, a little bit Suits. I had seen a little of those series. She was in her like a normal, though she came up from a broken family. She's always supported her mother. She wants her mom to look, who is looking after her son, Archie. But she has got, and she was represented in the United Nations, and I think part time also she did some modeling. I did follow her even after that from the interview, all about Megan, so, but I agree with Smita, I think, who just spoke just now. She tried her best, but I think now we should just leave where they both have decided to, go back. I mean, she is from the US and, Californian girl. So that's where they're settled, and he's got a job now. So they just want everything. I mean, just imagining cutting off from the royal. They don't have anything. The little boy doesn't have any right. So, all these things within the royal family, big, they've made it so big on that because Harry doesn't get anything
Mhm.
and she doesn't want anything, just a normal, simple life, away from all this, uh, you know, things.
Though I feel, I don't know, maybe I think it is a marketing strategy because there were a lot of similarities between her story and Princess Diana's story. So I thought maybe, that is like they picked it up from there and they made it in their own version. I don't know. It could, it's just a thought. So maybe it could, or it should not be. I don't know.
Harshita, I agree with you. Diana is a different. You cannot compare the two. For that, they made it very big because no doubt Harry. I mean, if even Harry shows, we'll think about, and she is still remembered today. So, at
Mhm.
my favorite idol had been Princess Diana at that time. I've kept in file her pictures, everything. I used to follow her, the way she talks, her hairstyle became a rage, And when Harry was talking, see, I don't blame. It's his mom, right? And she died. She died in a car accident. So the whole story went there, and then he's remembering because he's been living there, brought up there, and he has to leave everything, whatever he was served. All the duties were stripped, everything, and just imagine
Yeah.
coming to a new country. It's her country. It's for her, it's nothing, but for him, it's. But
So,
I feel he's okay. He's okay. He's got a job now. They announced a job, and he's quite happy. I have Prince Harry on my side, Facebook. So whatever
yeah.
Harry puts, I see. So he's got a job, and I think I'm happy that they just want to lead a normal life, and
Yeah, I
awaiting the
understand.
second child.
That's so true. That's so true. Which brings us to the end of this session, and yeah. So next week we are also discussing Paglet. Meeta ma'am?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm here. Yes.
Yeah. So next week we'll be discussing Paglet on Sipping Thoughts Movie Club. So that's a movie that just released today on Netflix. So do watch it and join us for our next week's movie club. So yeah, that's like yeah, which brings us to the end, and see you next week on another movie club. Till then, goodbye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Happy Holi,
Thank you
everyone.
so much for
Happy
joining in.
Holi,
Happy Holi.
everyone.
Happy Holi. Thank you.
Happy-
Thank
Thank
you. Thank
you.
you for joining
Thank
in.
you.